But I mean, I learned. Of course, you learn everything. Whatever you do, you can learn.
Welcome to the Private Chef podcast, serving the 1%. I'm your host, Hannes Henschel, and on our show we speak to the best chefs, how they honed in on their skills to excel in the industry, and what it takes to work as a private chef for some of the most exclusive clients in the world. Welcome back to the Private Chef podcast. Today we have Sandra Kramer from New York City. Welcome to the show, Sandra.
Thank you so much for having me.
So first of all, how did you get to New York City? You're not native to New York, so how did you end up in the vast city that we both seem to love?
I have been here for almost 20 years. So I came from Brazil. So I never lived in another city other than New York. So I have been for 20 years, and I love New York, and I stay here for all this time, and I didn't. So the question was, sorry.
Yeah, kind of how did you
Your
get there
question?
from Brazil? What was your journey like?
Because my sister, she lives here, so I came here just to know the city. But when I first came, I thought I would be here for 6 months and then return to Brazil. But I ended up staying more. So I never returned. I mean, I returned after a while, but I stay here.
Yeah, it's kind of the same with me. I thought I would maybe stay for a year, and over 10 years later, I'm still there.
Yeah, so we get addicted to live here. That's the problem.
Yeah. What do you love about New York that you're still there after 20 years?
I love everything about New York. I think all the craziness, everything is, I love everything about New York. I mean, you will have a lot of issues here, but I still love it.
Yeah. So were you already cooking back in Brazil, or is that something you started in the US?
When I used to live in Brazil, I used to cook like, how can I tell you? At that time, everyone used to cook like to live, like cook to live, not cooking for like as a professional, but cooking for your own, cooking for yourself. That was part of the regular task, everyday task. Like if you don't cook, probably you're not gonna eat it, right? You're not gonna have anything to eat. Because I'm from a small city, so if you want some bread, you have to make it. You don't have any bakery around to buy, so it's like that. You have to do homemade food most of the time, all the time. So when I was there, I never thought about being a chef because 30 years ago, 25 years ago, I never heard about chef as a professional. Just chef as a... I never heard a chef, when I got here, I heard about that kind of career. But in Brazil, because I was from a small city, I never thought about it. We just heard about being a cook or being a restaurant owner, or it's kind of not professional. That time was a non-professional career. Like you could probably own a bar, like my brother. He owned a bar, and he cooks a meal, but he's not a cook. He's not considered a cook. He does that, but like unprofessional way. But they probably don't consider themselves as a cook. They consider them like a bar owner.
Yeah. So then, what was that for you arriving in the States and kind of moving into that professional space of being or becoming a chef?
So in the beginning, I was not thinking about staying here, living here, but I was cooking for my sister and at her house every day. And she said, "Oh, you cook very well. I didn't know you cook so well." And I was cooking every day, and we're doing like parties and things like that. And then
So she was very happy you
I
stayed.
think that makes me, yeah. And then I was making, I saw a lot of ingredients when I first came here, and I thought, wow. We live in a neighborhood, Asian neighborhood. And I used to go every day at the Asian supermarket and buy and try new ingredients. And then I was very excited to try all those new ingredients, and then I cook with that, and I was trying a lot of sauces and everything. And I think they got excited too to have like a person, a private cook every day cooking for them, and my sister and her husband. And then I think that makes me move, like I think it was the Asian supermarkets when I saw those quantities of different ingredients that makes me very to move to this career. And the cooking shows at TV, because I have never seen that before, and I say, oh wow, you can be a chef here. And then I thought about that, that when you see a new thing, you probably have a little idea, like you say, oh, I could be a chef too, like you saw these cooking shows, and I like it to watch all the time and copy all those recipes. That was the beginning. And then I started working as a babysitter in a house, and I used to cook for them, every day. But I didn't need to cook, but I wanted to cook, so I asked them if I could cook.
You're like, please let me cook for you.
And then they like it too. But and then I went to Culinary. I went to French Culinary Institute. I decided to go, but I didn't know any chefs, to ask. The school introduced me to other chefs, like Brazilian chefs that have experience to know more about their careers and things, and I talked to them, but I never had any contact with any other chefs. So it was something that I built by my own mind. I didn't know what the other chefs were doing. It was very organically built. And then I started working for another family. I used to cook once a week. And then but the beginning of my career as a personal chef was when one of my friends introduced me to one Brazilian woman that wants to do a party. And I went to there and I got interviewed. And then before I do the party for her, she sent me to her neighbor. So I ended up not doing the party for her, but I started working for her neighbor. And then after that, she sent me so many clients. So I stopped being a babysitter, and I started cooking. Because I had so many clients. She sent me clients all the time, and I had so many parties. Even before I
were they all
school.
Brazilians, or was it? No, was it the Brazilian connection?
No, that woman. No, it was not Brazilian. The first connection was Brazilian, but she sent me to her neighbor. That was not Brazilian, was American. I never worked for this Brazilian woman, but I end up working for her neighbor. And that neighbor sent me to many people. So I was lucky in the beginning. And then, I used to I hadn't finished school at that time. And then I had millions of clients. So I stopped doing babysitting. And I started just just doing private chef, yeah, working as a private chef. And then I used to do a lot of parties, a lot of dinner parties, I had a lot of energy at that time. It was more than 15 years ago. And I finished school, and I think I tried to work once or twice at the restaurant, but because I had so many clients, I always quit the restaurant. But I worked for a short time at 2 restaurants. But I think all my experience was working as a private chef. I had all my cooking experiences mostly from working for families.
Yeah.
I didn't work first, like most of the private chef, they work 5 years at the restaurants, right? And after that, they go to do a private chef. Yeah, no, for me, it happens the opposite way. I started working as a private chef.
I'm hearing very, very different journeys, which excites me, because there's no like cookie cutter to it. I think you can, if you want to be very intentional about it, you could go 5 years in restaurants and then kind of segment into private. I think that's a good runway. But now hearing you and having spoken to some other chefs, there are alleys and different ways where you don't have to take that detour. And I mean, I love the way it went from you're like the nanny that wants to cook, and then you may suddenly have that entire portfolio of clients that you get to cook for, and then moving from that step into the restaurant doesn't even seem exciting for you. Probably you're like, why would I do this? I have all these clients for myself, and I can work on my terms rather than the chefs or the restaurant owners' terms. And probably the pay was also considerably different already.
Yes, it was. I tried to work in the restaurant, but the first time, the sous chef yelled me. I yelled her back. I couldn't say, I'm not gonna be yelled for nothing, for no reason. I'm not learning much here. It's I stayed like a couple months, but in one restaurant, and then. But I mean, I learned. Of course, you learn everything. Whatever you do, you're gonna learn. You have some lessons. But for me, it was not really worth it to stay in a restaurant because I have the clients.
Yeah.
But I think it's better to have experience working in restaurants. I think it's very worth it.
Why do you think it's better? What do you think it helps you with to have restaurant experience?
I think I don't know. I don't have any idea how the other private chef do the cooking as a private chef. But most of my clients, they don't ask me to cook anything so fancy.
Yeah.
So they prefer not that fancy as the restaurant, because they say if I want a very fancy, I can go to a restaurant. And but I always think my mind is not. I'm not sure about it, but I always think the ones that were the chefs that have been like in very good restaurants, like in most of the other private chefs, they probably can make a very fancy meals in a very short time. So I don't know. That's what I think.
I don't think in a short time necessarily. I would like to have some notice, but I think most of the clients really only want that on special occasion. I have not worked for anybody who really wants that as their day-to-day diet, where you consistently pull out kind of Michelin star restaurant dinners. I think most people are actually just like your clients, that they want homey food, they want delicious, real food on a regular basis. Yeah. And then, as you said, if they want something fancy, either they go out or it's like a more occasional thing, or maybe when they're entertaining.
Okay. Yeah, maybe it's the same kind of meal that I cook for them, but I just had that in my mind. Because I don't have other chefs that are that I don't have connections with other chefs. So I don't know. I never worked with another private chef. If I had worked like a sous chef in another house, like
Yeah.
I could probably know how they do their work. Because I didn't follow anyone, I just did. I learned from them, and they asked me, and I followed their instructions, and that's how I do. I don't know exactly how the other chef does this kind of job. I follow
That's
the agency.
that's kind of cool. You're completely untouched by the industry in both ways. Like, it's like you probably also didn't pick up the negatives from the industry. You just do your thing, and you just kind of went on the journey by yourself into the private sector.
Yeah, it happens. It happens for, I don't know exactly how to tell you, but it happened to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So over the last 15 years or so, did you mainly work on parties, or did you start working for particular families for longer periods of time?
So I had many clients in the beginning, right? So I used to cook for them weekly, like twice a week for some, once a week for others, and yeah, mostly, or 3 times a week, even 3 times a week for the same family. And I had clients just for parties, like they call me once a month, once in a year for holidays, things like that. And then, but I don't just cook for parties. I cook every day, like five. Now I'm working 4 days a week for 3 different families, and I have been doing that for all these years. But different, I changed all those clients that I had in the beginning. After a while, I decided to leave these clients, and I thought I had those clients just because their woman sent me. And I said, no, I want to find my own clients. I want to find the clients by my own. And then I start to leave them slowly and find my own clients, like from agencies, from other recommendation, other parts, not just from that. Because she used to send me people all the time. But I thought I didn't have, I was not believing in my work. I said, I just have this job because she's sending me these people, not because I found them, like I
but you still have to deliver on the plate. I mean, you don't get to keep the job only because she makes the introduction. You get to keep the job because of what you cook.
That was my thought, and then I could, when you don't have much experience, you think crazy things, That's why it's good what you're doing, those podcasts, is good for the beginners, because they can listen to all the experience and they will know what to do.
Yeah, that's literally why I'm doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do. That's why I'm trying to do things, and I learned from my own. So, but now people don't need to do all that. They can listen to you, to your podcast. Yes. So, yeah, I learned from my own experience. So, if I could return to that time, I would not do that. I could, just keep those clients and build a personal chef, hire other chefs to share this. Yeah. Instead of leaving them. Doesn't make any sense to leave a client, you could grow. I could grow. I could grow, not do that. but then I did that. I learned from that. I could do like a private chef services, right? And put more sous chefs.
But I think that self-doubt that you spoke about, it's very common. I think we all at times doubt ourselves, especially if we're just getting started in something. And then if we feel like we just got lucky, we still feel like we have to prove it to ourselves, just like when you went out to get your own clients. I think that's fairly normal.
Yeah, especially because I didn't work at the restaurant. I was feeling like I was not in the right position. And I say I'm not maybe I'm doing the money, but I don't worth it, all that. And then I have doubt about it. You feel like you're not belong to that,
You were always just waiting for them to like, no, you don't have to come back.
Yeah, it's like, how do you call that? Is
Yeah.
there is a name for that.
I don't know. When are they going to find out that I'm not a real chef?
Yeah, no, they say, like, you're the best chef in the world. And I say, really? Are you sure?
But here's the funny thing. I have friends who work in 3 Michelin star restaurants as sous chefs and such, who are literally in the top of the chef world, and they still doubt themselves.
Oh yeah, is that good or bad? Is that a good?
I think self-doubt is to some degree is human.
Yeah, it makes you improve, but maybe help you to improve. Always improve, right? Maybe.
Yeah, I
Right?
think so, man. I mean, it can be. It probably has a space in life where it's toxic, and it has a space where it helps you improve and level up, and kind of get better. I guess it depends how we direct it.
Okay. Yes. You feeling imposter, like an imposter.
Imposter syndrome. Yeah, I think that's. I mean, I've been part of a couple of Tony Robbins events, and when he asks the question, for example, who in the room feels like he is not good enough, it's like literally the entire room. So the imposter syndrome is very real.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was just with me. I didn't know 3 Michelin star chef would be feeling that too.
I give you an example. A couple of years ago, there was a French chef. I don't remember his name or the restaurant's name, but he had multiple Michelin stars, and they downgraded his rating, and the guy shot himself. Like, he killed himself. That's the ultimate imposter syndrome. Like, if you need that kind of outside acknowledgement for your work.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Like he didn't know that he was one of the best chefs in the world based on his work. And there's actually something beautiful. When the Michelin star rating went to Japan, and they gave ratings to some of the Japanese chefs, and some of the chefs, they acknowledged it as a reward. But they were like, we've been doing great work before you rated us, and we will continue to do the same kind of work. But thanks for the acknowledgement. And I thought that was very profound, because while the Western chefs get all hung up on their ratings, at least those couple Japanese guys, they were like, we've been doing great work all along, and we knew it. And we're going to continue to do great work, but thanks for the acknowledgement.
Oh, okay. Yes. So this guy, poor guy. Yes, yes. I felt this. I keep feeling that, I think, until today, these days. So maybe we have too much ego. I don't know. Or maybe we have to stop thinking about other people and think about ourselves, what people think about our work, and just our work. Yeah, I don't know exactly. Sometimes I think it's too much ego that we have, and then people always need to tell us that the food is delicious, the food is this and that, to make us believe that we're doing a good job.
So how do you usually handle those moments? Let's say you made a meal that you thought was really good, and maybe the guest is not so happy. How do you process that internally?
I don't feel upset about if they didn't like the food. I don't feel upset. I don't really have a personal, like, I don't get upset, but I feel like, oh, I should do that much better. Next time I will do. I can see all the mistakes that I have done, and I try to improve the next time. But I feel a little sad, to be honest.
Yeah.
I feel sad when people don't finish the meal. They don't finish. They don't eat all the food. Sometimes they're not hungry. They go to a dinner party after they go to a cocktail or something like that. They're not feeling hungry. They eat very little. But I can try to even. I need to know. I try when I see that they didn't eat or they didn't like. I try to understand why. The reason.
Yeah.
To make it better next time, or to don't make the same mistake again.
But also food is very personal, right? It's like, especially if you're cooking for a party, maybe the style we have as a chef, or the food we're cooking, or the food that was chosen by the host doesn't necessarily suit everybody's palate. So there's so many different factors before it actually maybe gets personal down to our lack of skills.
Yes. Usually we try to I try to ask if there's some allergy, people that has some allergy, or what they don't like, the ingredients that they don't like to eat, so I can have an idea to avoid people returning the plates. Like if they don't eat beef, I'm not gonna. Maybe I'll have two choices.
Yeah. Big beef tenderloin, please. No, just kidding.
Yeah, if there's some people, some of the guests probably. Some people don't eat meat. Some people don't eat no meat at all. So we try to make everyone happy, but we try. But some hosts, they don't care. They say they're gonna do what they like.
Yeah.
If they're following a diet, they're gonna do a diet dinner, and they're gonna follow that diet. And if the guests don't eat, especially the family, if the guests are family related, so they're not gonna care much about it.
They will be fine.
Okay.
They will
For
be
me,
fine.
it's not okay.
Yeah.
So, I
So what have been
yes,
some of your? Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. You get.
No. You can ask me first.
Oh, I was about to say, what have been some of the most memorable events that you've been part of?
Not memorable. I don't know. Oh, let me think about it. To be honest, I can remember many of them. But if you want me to, I have some memory. I was just thinking before I just start talking to you. I was thinking about the very beginning, when one client asked me to do a French fries for her kid, and I said, "Oh, I'm not gonna do a French fries." Why she asked me to do a French fries? I'm not gonna. I didn't understand much in the beginning, because why she was asking me to do French fries? Because it was so easy, and I said, "Oh, I'm a chef. I'm not gonna do a French fries." And when I got home, and I said, "How come I said no for my for my client?" And at that time, I didn't understand I didn't understood that she want the French fries because she want the fries to be done in a better oil, homemade. But at that point, at that time, I didn't understand it, because I didn't have much experience. I was just thinking there was one part of my career that I remembered. I just remembered, and also most of my clients, in the beginning they had some kind of OCD, OCD kind of little things, and that was very memorable for me too, because I learned a lot from that. It sounds very tricky, but I learned a lot from those people. They are OCD people, but we can learn a lot from them. All of those little words that they have, it makes us improve a lot our work.
Yeah. French fries is a hot topic in the private industry. It's very, very funny. French fries is like, it's a funny topic, I must say. Like, there's people that were so specific about their French fries and how they're made, and I've seen some chefs, including myself, having really interesting experience around French fries. So you're not alone on that one.
Yeah, and also I think one client asked me to do, like, I was in the very beginning too. Like they asked me to do I think it was fried oysters, fried clams, or fried oysters, and I forgot my oyster opener. So no, it was fried clams. I forgot, and I couldn't open it. And I said, what am I gonna do now? I'm dead. I'm done. I have to leave here. I got so stressed because I said, well, how can I do this dinner? And I didn't know what to do, and I did crazy things. I put the clams in hot water for 1 second, and then they opened a little bit, and then I removed them, put in the cold water. And I said, oh, now I'm able to open them. But then I got very stressed that day because I forgot my the shell, the opener, the knife, the shell, the oyster knife, and I couldn't open them. But those things that when you have no much experience, you learn, and you have to figure out what to do. But it have been so many years that I can't remember one special, memorable. But there's so many memorable parties and dinner parties.
So how did you teach yourself on how to cook so many different things? Like, I mean, over 15 years, I'm sure now you have a larger repertoire of cooking skills, and it's all self-taught, right?
I went to cooking school, and it's also I follow recipes, and I change recipes too, because they usually follow diets. They don't want butter, they don't want cream, they don't want this. So I have to follow to do my own way of cooking, to follow the diets and follow the instructions. Yeah, it's mostly self-taught kind of. I try, like there are some chefs that just cook Italian food, maybe because they didn't give a try to another
cuisine,
to a different style. But if you keep trying, you can probably always cook. If you're able to cook one meal from, I don't know where you're from, Germany, right? If
Germany,
you're able to cook Germany food, you're able to cook. I think we're able to cook anything. I'm not able to cook a very fancy Japanese meal, but I know how far I can go.
Yeah. So how did you
Yeah, so
figure
they ask you
out
to do.
the business component of how did you charge your client in the beginning? Because I figured, and that's a common theme that most people that come into the industry, uh, they tend to get the pricing off, and usually for their personal disadvantage.
Uh, when I was at school, they have a school career, and they have a price for the private chef, because they always had a career every week.
Yeah,
So they told us how much we should charge for a private chef or private party. So they always so we get the price. I got the price from the career
yeah.
job at the French Culinary Institute, and from that, you start to increase, and then
That
you
was
pay with the
probably
clients after that.
that was probably one of the the best classes you took in the school. Because I think that really helped you get that straight from the beginning.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, I didn't find much jobs from the school. Most of my jobs, I found one or two from school. But they have a job, I think I found two or three jobs from school.
Yeah,
They have a job board for all the students. But yeah, and from the agencies too, because I found many jobs from the agency, and they give you the rate.
yeah. Yeah, when I first came
So,
to the US and to New York, I was grossly undercharging, to say the least.
oh yeah,
Peop-
undercharging.
yeah, people were happy. They got the European bargain from me for the first couple months.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So then was good. I didn't. Probably I didn't get undercharged, because the school helped me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what are some of your favorite dishes that you like to cook right now, or that you've learned recently?
My favorite dishes. That's one thing. I like to cook Mediterranean food. I like to cook vegetarian meals too. My favorite is vegetarian meals, but let me tell you, uh, my favorite dish now. I don't know. Do I have to tell my favorite dish that I would like to someone to do for me? Because
Well, it's up to you.
I cook for other. I like to some chef to cook a very nice and crispy chicken parmigiana. I don't know, it sounds very simple, but it's very tricky to make it. And then I said, I don't make it for myself. I make it for my clients once in a while when they are not following any diets. But
Yeah.
when I don't know exactly what's my favorite dish, to be honest, because when I get home, I don't cook the same dishes that I cook at home at work. I don't cook for myself.
Yeah, that was
So
a funny one. What you just mentioned is when I first started working in like really fancy restaurants, like when I would go home, people were like, "Oh, you eat the same food at home?" Like, obviously not. Like, I'm still normal human, and I still like to eat my pizza and stuff at home.
yes. Oh, yeah. I thought I was like a very dumb, because I said I don't even know what to tell you, what I would like to cook, because yeah, I would like to have a pizza and hamburger and some chicken parmigiana. That's my kind of meal. I can't see you anymore. I think I lost you.
No, I'm here. Even even
I
if you can't
cannot
see
see you,
me,
but you probably
it keeps going. Don't worry, I'm still there.
okay.
As long as you can hear me.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, it seems that right now the internet is a little bit weak.
Okay. So yeah, I'm trying to return because I think I got something went wrong here. Okay, so I can still hear you.
Yeah, I'm here. I can see you.
Okay, good. I'm returning.
So, what are some of the favorite places that the chef job took you to?
Okay, let me return. What is the best places?
Yeah, like I'm sure you've traveled some. You've been to different places in the Hamptons and on the East Coast. And what are some of the favorite spots that the job brought you to?
So I went to Bermuda. I went to Florida. I forgot the name of the West Palm Beach. I'm still going there, and also to the Hamptons. That was the place that I had gone. Yes, I can't remember.
What's your favorite?
Yes,
The Bermudas?
Bermuda. Yes, Bermuda was my favorite.
Did you go there for a holiday trip or?
I had one client that used to live there, and they own an apartment here in the city.
Yeah.
So they used to come like every 4 months, and every time they come, they used to call me. And also they had 2 kids, and then they want to bring a chef to Bermuda to work for them full time. And I went there to see. They want me to live there with them. So, and then I went there twice, 2 or 3 times, and I decided not to go there, to live there. And now they not live in Bermuda anymore. They live in Paris, close to that island close to Paris. I forgot the name. So I haven't seen them for a while because I think they couldn't come so often anymore because now they live far. But they still come, I think.
Now then, Culinary Paradise.
Yeah, they moved to another paradise island. I forgot the name. Close to France. Yes, I like to go to Bermuda. It was very nice. And now I'm going to West Palm Beach sometimes with another family that work just for holidays.
Nice.
And in the summer also.
In the summer?
In the summer I work in the Southampton, and then sometimes I go, for Thanksgiving I go to West Palm Beach.
Yeah, got it. Nice. What are your favorite hidden gem shops in Southampton?
Southampton. I like that Green Thumb Green Market. It's not Green Market. It's Green Thumb. It's called Green Thumb.
Green Thumb.
Yes, it's a shop on the
right on 27th, right?
Yes, it's on the road. You can.
Yeah.
I think it's between Southampton. It's in Southampton and Watermill.
Yeah, yeah, and I know exactly where it is.
Green Thumb Green Market. Yes, and there's a fish market that I can't remember the name, but I think it's in Bridgehampton. There's one nice fish market. On the road, there's one road. There's just one road. But it's in Bridgehampton. There's a nice fish market over there. That I like too. Yes.
Nice.
I think. Yeah, and I do the shopping at Citarella most of the time.
Did you hear Did you used to go shopping at Schmidt's in Southampton?
Oh, that place they sell. Yeah, I never really went there, but I think I went there once, but I never do most of the shopping there.
Yeah, they used to have really good selection
People
of
like to.
fruits and things, but they just
Oh yeah.
they just shut down. Second generation, they just closed.
Oh yeah. But in the summer they were open.
Yeah, it just happened a couple of weeks
Last
ago.
summer.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So be prepared
I
next
didn't
year.
know.
It will be a lot more dense at Cinderella in Southampton.
Yeah, it's gonna be crowded. Okay. Yes.
Well, Sandra, thank you very much, for taking the time and sharing your journey. And, if anybody would like to connect with you, where's the best way to get in touch with you?
The best way is from my Instagram. I think it's Chef Sandra Kramer. And yeah, from my email too. I think I have my email on my Instagram.
Awesome.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. We'll make sure to add your Instagram in the show notes too. So if anybody would like to get in touch, they can just click right there and check out your Instagram.
Okay. Yes, thank you so much. Have a good week.
Thank you for joining us at the Private Chef podcast. If you know any highly skilled chefs that want to take their life to the next level, make sure to share this podcast with them. And if you enjoyed this episode, click subscribe and check out our upcoming episodes. Thank you for listening.